Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well today. Video number 2 of 2, the usual routine on here. If you haven't caught video number 1 already that I uploaded earlier on today, make sure you check it out right here. We go into detail about Caicedo and the latest that was happening there, including a rejected 65 plus £5 million bid that was made last week apparently. Verbally, not officially, verbally, and now this week we're going to see what happens. So go and check out all the details that I've laid out in that video if you haven't seen it already. You can either pause this video and go and watch that, then come back here, or as I always say, if you're weird and lopsided, you want to do it the other way around. Whatever floats your boat. So that's it. And as I always say, if you are new and you haven't already, make sure you do hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. And on top of that, make sure you are following Younes Talks Football on all social media platforms. Links are in the description. Instagram at Younes Talks Football, Twitter at ytalksfootball, and TikTok at Younes Talks Football. Content coming there as well. Make sure you hit the links in the description. Let's get cracking. So, talking about Caicedo, we had Fabrizio Romano mention him earlier on today, a couple of hours ago, and let's get right into it. This is what he had to say. Chelsea had £70 million plus add-ons turned down for Caicedo. Keep calm and let's see what happens this week. Negotiations are going well. Like I said earlier on, I think this is just a case of Chelsea going really low to then get something that they would deem acceptable, and Brighton, with time ticking, eventually going, okay, let's just do a deal. I think it's just standard business tactics, and I said by today that I would have wanted this deal to be done, and I thought it would have been done before we fly out to the States. The one, caveat and the good thing that we have in this situation is that Brighton are heading to the same destination as us. So we can link up with him there, not a problem. He has been training, everything's been going good. So in relation to that aspect, we don't need to worry. He'll just change teams, go from that side to that side, and that's it. And then we play them, and then I hope, I'm going to come to Brighton later on, but what I hope happens when we play them is we get a Caicedo assist in the 90th minute straight to Levi Colwill's head and he hits it in. That would be beautiful. And that would be the perfect, up yours to Brighton, and the way that they've managed to somehow get us not just annoyed and frustrated, but wanting us to liquidate that club if it was possible. I'm going to say this. After we get this Caicedo deal done, we should never talk to them ever again. Never. I couldn't care less if they had the next Ronaldo regen, right? Or the next Lionel Messi regen. We don't talk to them ever again, yeah? I've had enough of Brighton. I might not even go to Brighton anymore. It's not even far. Down the M23 and I'm there. It's one straight road to Brighton from where I live. And I'm not going. I'm not going, ever. I don't want to set foot in that town anymore because of what they've done to us. And look, like I've said, it's all banter, because if I was in Brighton's shoes, I'd do the same thing. If I was a Brighton fan, I'd be happy with the way that Brighton have been functioning. They have, as a football club, they've been doing things correctly. So fair play to them. But they've done it to us, and that's what's annoying. So yeah, Caicedo, look, we'll see what happens this week. As I've said, I am optimistic about this deal as an entirety. I do think it will be done, and I think he will be joining Chelsea. I think eventually, if it does get bad, he'd have to force it, which I think he'd be prepared to do, but I don't think he'll get to that. I think Brighton will get a deal done, and they'll try and get as much as they can, whilst Chelsea will try and pay as less as they can. So let's see what happens. Now, talking about Levi Colwill, because we mentioned him there was this that popped up, and then there was another bit of news that came up in contradiction to what I'm about to show you. So let's clarify the situation. Here it is. Felix Johnston saying further to this, Jurgen Klopp has held a phone call with Colwill directly. Chelsea are extremely angered by Brighton and Liverpool's persistence, as they have said many times directly that Levi is not for sale. Chelsea are contemplating reporting Liverpool to the FA. I say we just do that anyway. I think that would be great. Just report them. For the sake of it, because it's Liverpool. That's it. As I said, it's a joke. It's banter. So Liverpool fans watching, please don't get offended. Yeah? Listen. Before I get to my opinion, there was also a few others that were saying, no, there hasn't been a phone call. It's not true. So we can't be making assumptions. But what I will say, and this is where my opinion comes in, Liverpool tried this with Southampton. when we had Colwill at Southampton, right? This was attempted. So I wouldn't put it past Liverpool to pick up the blower and go, oh, Levi, hello, we've still got your number. How you doing, mate? Like, I really wouldn't put it past them, but we can't confirm, right? We don't know. It might not be true. It might be true. But what I will say is, Chelsea have made it absolutely clear. He's not for sale at any price. He's gone to pre-season. We'll get to the pre-season squad very, very shortly. I've got big opinions about that one. Stay tuned. But Colwell's travelled. I think he's stable. He's going to have conversations with Poch. He's going to clarify this new contract situation that Chelsea have put on the table for him. He's going to be playing pre-season. And chances are he's going to be a Chelsea player next season. Or this coming season. So I think that all of this is just void, and we are about to confirm, because Liverpool can do what they want in terms of actually trying to get Levi Colwill if it's actually true and getting on the phone and whatnot, but as long as Chelsea sort it out with Colwill, he won't go anywhere. Brighton, I think, have actually come to terms with this, and why? Because they've only gone and signed a defender. And a left-sided defender, if we're going to, be really specific, someone that plays exactly like Levi Colwill does in his role. Check this out. The agreement between Brighton and Brazilian defender Igor is on a 4-year deal, contract until 2027. Fiorentina and Brighton are in talks over fee, then deal could be done. That's it. They found a replacement. So this is where I think Brighton have officially folded. They will end their interest in Levi Colwill. Now we just clarify with Liverpool and see if they are actually attempting. And if they are, just slap them in the face. And if they're not, well, say good. Keep your distance and stay away. Or else, right? And that's it. Let's leave it at that. Give them the proper Phil Mitchell treatment, and then we'll keep it at that. So that's the latest with Levi Colwill. Look, for anyone getting worried or thinking, oh no, my God, no, he has to play. He will play. And for anyone that's concerned, like, oh no, he's being dragged away. He's not being dragged away. He won't, right? Chelsea have made it clear. And I think Colwill will be professional enough in order to see what the situation is and clarify everything with the manager and with the club before continuing. And I think that will be done. As I've said, he's already gone to the States today with Chelsea. And we'll clarify that when we get to the pre-season squad. But before we do, there was one piece of information that I gave you guys earlier on and my thoughts on it about a player that is looking like he could be heading out of the club. And who was it? Ethan Ampadu. Well, we now have confirmation from what I said earlier on. Here it is. Ethan Ampadu leaves Chelsea and will join Leeds United on a permanent deal agreement in place. Chelsea will receive £7 million fixed fee plus add-ons, as Phil Hay reported. Personal terms also agreed. Fair play to Phil Hay. He does write for The Athletic, Leeds United voice for The Athletic. And he did say this earlier on. Hence why I mentioned it. It wasn't deal done, but I mentioned that there's a possibility he could be going over to Leeds. And I think it could be good for him if the team is strong enough to get themselves back up to the Premier League, because I do think Ampadu should be playing Premier League football. Ampadu, as I said earlier on in video 1, is a player where I just feel like there should be more. But there isn't, for whatever reason. And now he's off to Leeds. Leeds that are getting taken over by a new ownership. That hasn't been done just yet, but it will. And I feel like we'll have enough tools and resources to get players in and shape the team up to get them back up to the Premier League. I think Leeds will be back, and Ethan Ampadu will be a core part of that. So let's see what happens. But talking about what Chelsea might put in the deal for him, we have Fabrizio confirming what is up. More on the Ethan Ampadu Leeds deal. Understand Chelsea will include sell-on clause into the agreement. No buyback clause, only sell-on. So for those that don't know what's going on, basically we haven't got a buyback option. So we're not first in line to get him back if we wanted to. There isn't. So we have an equal chance as anyone else if we were to go in for him in the future, which won't happen, I don't think, but you never know. But there is a sell-on clause. So if Leeds do decide to sell him, we get a percentage. So free money, basically. I'm glad. And I think Leeds have done that wisely, knowing that there's a chance that if they do get back up to the Premier League, a bigger team will probably come in for Ampadu and give them more money. So Chelsea, knowing that as well, took a percentage. And that's the deal that's been done. So Ampadu goes off to Leeds United, and I wish him the best of luck. It's a shame it never really worked out at Chelsea, but it's one of those things where we have to be real and honest with ourselves. Not everyone is going to make it. And that's the truth, and that's what people need to come to terms with, and the realization needs to kick in, especially the ones that are obsessed with the academy lot, because I know a load of people, especially Chelsea fans, tons, want the academy lot to succeed, and that's absolutely correct and fine. But there are those that say, no, they must. It has to be the academy lot. They must be forced into the team. Here you go, stick them into the starting 11 no matter what. No, that is not how it works, and that is not going to happen whether you like it or not. There's a realism here. Not everyone's going to make it. And unfortunately, Ampadu, who joined the club at 15, if I'm not mistaken, he's one of those. So I wish him the best. And I'll be looking from afar, seeing how he does for Leeds next season in the Championship. And hopefully they get, well, I say hopefully they get promoted again. Hopefully not from a Chelsea perspective, because we're not meant to have that relationship. But I know quite a lot of people from Leeds. I've spent quite a bit of time in Leeds. I do like those lot in Leeds. And I wish him the best. So I don't know what to say. I'm a bit on the fence. But anyway, that's the latest with Ampadu and Leeds United. Now, another potential player. And it finally looks like there is a link, a concrete link. And this is the one that I've been waiting for. And I think you might know who I'm about to talk about. Let's get into it. Here it is. Conor Gallagher. He's also on the list of West Ham, next to Goretzka. Talks with the 23-year-old are positive and ongoing. Talks about a transfer fee package of around 25 to 35 million euros. Understand the player can really imagine to join West Ham. Gallagher and Borussia Dortmund not hot at this stage. And you know what? I think West Ham would be perfect for him. In terms of level, I've said this before. In terms of level, him not having to leave the league, I do think he's built for the Premier League. Proper traditional English style and quite physical and whatnot. And I feel like the style that he'll find at West Ham is going to be suited to him like it was at Crystal Palace compared to the top level at Chelsea where, like I've said, I just don't think he's cut for it. And if he does go to West Ham, I think he'll actually do well. But it doesn't mean that he goes to a top team and blows up, because that's where I think the limitation is. And that's what's happened with us, I do believe. So, I think he'll be able to go to West Ham and do the dirty work where there isn't an expectation of playing to such a quickness and an intensity. I think it'll suit him. So, West Ham, interested? 25 to 35 million euros. Can we clarify that, please? I want that in pounds. To think Everton wanted to pay 40 million pounds for him. And we couldn't say yes to that because he didn't want to go. And now, look, if we were to get, right, I'll be honest, if we were to get 30 million pounds for him from West Ham, I think that's a good deal. Fair play. Absolutely fair play. If we can get more, great. But I think that's fair enough. And we'll see what happens. Conor Gallagher potentially heading off to West Ham. Let me know your thoughts down below. Now, let's get to the big elephant in the room. Chelsea have gone to the United States today. And they've left with a 29-man squad. Now, there's controversy about the 29-man squad. And I'm here to clarify the situation because I'm going to be brutally honest for those that have an issue. I don't want to say I don't care, but you have your opinion. And I'm not really fussed. Let's get into it. Here it is. Chelsea take a 29-man squad to the USA. Goalkeepers, Kepa, Gabriel Slolina, Lucas Bergstrom, Eddie Beach, Jamie Cumming. Defenders, Thiago Silva, Trevor Chalobah, Ben Chilwell, Marco Correa, Malo Gusto, Bashir Humphreys, Levi Colwill, Ian Matson, Alfie Gilchrist. And midfielders, Enzo Fernandez, Conor Gallagher, Carney Chukwuemeka, Andre Santos, Cesare Casadei, Lewis Hall. And the forwards, Mikhailo Mudryk, Raheem Sterling, Noni Madueke, Angelo Gabriel, Diego Moreira, Nicholas Jackson, Christopher Nkunku, Mason Burstow. Dusan Richards is going but training only and will not play. There are some missing names. I think you've identified who. Reece James, for example. Fofana, what's going on? Aubameyang I'm going to come to later on in the video. We have news. But Gallagher's going. There's a chance he could just end up leaving the club while we're out there. So let's just put that into perspective. As for now, there is no deal done. So he kind of has to come on the trip because if he weren't to go, he would be used during the season. And the whole point of this is to take players that have a chance of being used in the season or that we want to see first before making a decision. So those are the ones that have gone. Players like Ziyech, Hudson-Odoi, Lukaku, all of these, they're staying back. They're not going because they're leaving, right? Well, Lukaku, this guy, I hope. But let's get to the latest on Reece James, for example. Here it is. Official, Reece James reported feeling unwell on Monday morning, so is not travelling to the USA as a precaution. He will join up with the Chelsea squad as soon as he's better. So there's no need to worry. He's not injured. He's just ill. That's it. And he's not going to go on the plane to the United States where, someone else could get ill, or just wait till he gets better and then he'll fly out. It'll be, I reckon, a couple of days and he'll be flying off himself. So there's no need to worry. I think he will be available and ready for the first game against Wrexham. But that's Reece James. Wesley Fofana, however, this is where it's a little bit of a concern. Here it is. Breaking, Wesley Fofana has not travelled due to a knee injury, which is being assessed. And this is definitely, as the first comment here says, this is definitely why we're probably going to keep Chalobah. Because, and look, why we're so adamant that Levi Colwill needs to stay. Because this is depth, and it means that we have good cover in those positions, and we don't need to worry if something happens during the season. Fofana, so far, has been very similar to Reece James in terms of time out. Even last season, he had a portion where he was out because he was injured. And there was that fear when he came from Leicester that he could be injury prone. I hope that's not the case, but he's had a knee injury and he's being assessed, and I hope it's not a bad one. But we've got the cover. We're okay. In defence, I'm not concerned one bit. What's crazy is Thiago Silva, at his age, never gets injured. And it goes to show, when someone looks after themselves properly, you can prevent these things from happening. So that's a lesson for all players. Genetics, I think, gets involved as well. Depends on just how strong you actually are. Something that you're probably born with. But players like Thiago Silva, who recovers and takes care of his body, much like Cristiano Ronaldo, who never gets injured either, there's a reason. There's players that dedicate so much time to recovery and looking after themselves. I think it's an example for everyone. That's just something to point out. But Wesley Fofana, let's wait and see what happens. I'm going to bring back the squad. Because I've seen some Chelsea fans that have an issue with the squad. They're like, what? This is our squad? We're ruined. We're finished. And look, you're hearing it from me. Yeah? Last season, I'm going to be honest. I came on here and I was telling you exactly how I felt, right? And it wasn't good. I'm not saying it wasn't good what I chose to do, but it's not even like I chose to do it. I was just brutally honest. Every single video I came on and I was just telling you how rubbish the situation was, how annoyed I was, how ridiculous things were, how crazy our club was being run, the way that it was being managed. Some of the players were a joke. I was coming here and constantly ranting and raving at you guys, right? But we need perspective and we need honesty. In good moments and bad moments, we can't just be bad moment every single time just for the clicks. Like, that's not how I function. I come on here and tell you it's good, and I come on here and tell you it's bad. When we were winning and whatnot, I couldn't stop telling you guys that we were going to win the Champions League, that we were going to do something in the league, that we were going to go and get top 4. But when it was bad, I was telling you, yo, this is mad, we're going to get relegated. And we almost did. So look, the squad, I'm going to put it up on screen again. There is one cause for concern in terms of the Chelsea fan base. Let me clarify the situation. So in terms of goalkeepers, we're well covered. Some people are saying it's a bit ridiculous to take 5 goalkeepers out there. Okay, I get it. But there are some of those that are academy keepers, some that have come back from loan. We're going to keep fresh, and they will be going off on loan again. So that is why. We're not just going to keep them at Cobham. The defenders, I think we are very well covered. Hence, Reece James Fofana added onto that list, and I think we've got everything we need. Thiago Silva, Ben Chilwell, Reece James, Fofana, Levi Colwill, Gusto, Chalobah, Cucurella. That's the block. We got more than enough cover. The midfield is where people are concerned, right? Enzo, Gallagher, Chukwuemeka, Santos, Cassidy and Lewis Hall. And people are saying, oh my God, we go into the season with this, we're ruined. And I agree to an extent. We go into the season with that only. Yeah, we're going to lose games. We're going to lose control of certain matches. But we won't. We won't. This is where I'm going to clarify the situation. Caicedo will be coming in. What happens if we get Shirky in? Which is probably going to happen. But there's going to be players that are still adding on here. So don't worry. Do not worry. Gallagher could be on his way out. And let me clarify the situation on one thing. I'll bring the names up again. When you look at names like Chukwuemeka, when you look at names like Andre Santos, Cesare Cassidy specifically, you look at these players, and even in attack, Angelo Gabriel, Diego Moreira, Nicholas Jackson, who is going to be a part of the squad anyway. But the names that I just read out, these are names we just brought in, and we don't even know how they play. The names are going to be tried and tested, and that's the whole point of pre-season. We need to see how these guys play. If anything, the fact that we haven't got actual starters come in. Say, for example, Caicedo comes to Chelsea. He's an immediate starter. The fact he's not here means Santos, Cesare Casade, who's been raved about by everybody, and even Chelsea fans, and even myself, I've referenced him to Lampard and Ballack in the past. You know, these are names that we're going to get to see in Chelsea tops. Show me what you can do. If anything, I'm excited to see all of these names in the Chelsea squad heading out for pre-season, because I'm going to get to discover what these lads are about. Santos, he's been raved about in Brazil. We get to see him. Casade, like I've said, we get to see him. Lewis Hall as a midfielder, we're probably going to get to see. Angelo Gabriel, Diego Moreira, we're going to get to see. But on top of that, Chukwuemeka's going to have more game time. We're going to get to see how he's been after last season and into this pre-season. And on top of that, when we do get to the start of the season, you best believe if Casade's joined, if Shirky's joined, all these guys are going to slot right into the squad, and we're going to have more than enough cover. In terms of the striker position, that's the one that's up in the air and we don't know what's going on. But even then, we're going to get to see Jackson. He's probably the number one striker on this list right now. Well, here you go. Here's the spot. Show me what you can do. Can you score goals? We're going to get to discover it. Pochettino's going to get to figure everything out. So if anything, I'm excited about this squad. And you should be too. So let's wait and see how this is going to go down. That's my analysis on the Chelsea squad. Let me know your thoughts down below. And yeah, we gear up and we get ready for Wrexham. It's going to be interesting. Now, we spoke about Aubameyang. So before we wrap up, 2 little bits of info. Here's the first for Aubameyang. Olympique Marseille and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang have reached agreement on a 3-year contract until 2026. Aubameyang open to join OM. That's why Marseille are optimistic, confident to get it done. Negotiations with Chelsea not expected to be complicated. So we get to say goodbye to Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Didn't really work out, did it? In terms of his time at Chelsea, although at first it did for the first few games. It looked really, really positive and then it just disappeared. Well, he stopped playing. He stopped being played. And then we never really saw him again. So we can thank Graham Potter for that. So yeah, that's the latest on Aubameyang. He's heading off to Marseille, it seems. I wish him the best of luck and I hope he can wrap up his career in the highest way possible. So yeah, when it's all done and official, we'll be saying goodbye to Aubameyang and good luck to him. And before we wrap up, I want to show you this. And I've been getting constant links to this, especially on Twitter. And I'm going to clarify this because for me, this is a non-issue. As much as I want to laugh at it, this is a non-issue. Let me show you here. Juventus fans outside the club's medical centre all saying we don't want Lukaku. Now, look, if you look at this video very carefully, this is why for me it's a non-issue. This is, about 20 geezers outside of the medical centre, and most of them are kids. Most of them are teenagers. You can hear it in their voices. Some of their voices haven't even broken yet. Honest, go and look at the clip and you'll just be like, that's all you hear, right? That's all you hear. Lukaku saying we don't want Lukaku. Yeah, okay, I understand it. And I don't blame them. If anything, I'd be on their side if I was a Juventus fan. But the realistic situation is this isn't a protest. There's about 20 guys outside the medical centre here. There's millions of Juventus fans. This is a non-issue. So, yeah. I have to say, half of that being said, it's just me hoping that Juventus do take him. But that's not a big enough impact of a protest, you know. The Tottenham protest probably had more impact than this. And there was about 10 geezers with a guitar. 10 geezers with one having a guitar outside the megastore shouting Levi out. That, you know, this is the same sort of impact. So non-issue. Non-issue, ladies and gentlemen. Non-issue. So there we are. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section below. Much appreciated. And yeah, we'll get to 2 more videos tomorrow. So make sure you guys are here for that. And like always, I always say, hit that subscribe button if you are new. Hit that notification bell to be notified once I've uploaded. Do not forget the social media links in the description on screen right now. Instagram at Younes Talks Football. Twitter at YTalksFootball. Younes Talks Football wasn't available. And TikTok at Younes Talks Football. So make sure you guys hit that in the description and check out the extra content on there. And I will see all of you tomorrow for a couple of new ones. So have a good one, people. See you lot then. Have a good night. Take care. And peace.